All right, welcome, guys. My name is Antoine Rivers. I'm the host of the Conviction Fiction, and we got a special show for you today. But I want to thank you guys again for tuning in every week, listening to some of the struggles and the challenges that a lot of people are dealing with today. But let me tell you first about the show. All right, the Conviction Fiction is a podcast where we delve into stories of resilience and redemption. We shed light on the real struggles and triumphs of life after prison. And today, guys, we have a powerful episode lined up featuring Ray Ragland, a former Air Force serviceman who, after being sentenced to life, defied the odds. Ray not only got out, but he's now thriving as a successful entrepreneur. From launching ventures in real estate to opening barbershops, Ray's journey is one of incredible determination. And then let me tell you this, he's currently back in school, learning new trades to reduce the cost of running his own businesses, all while remaining active in his local community through various outreach programs. Now, Ray's story is one of the many stories that we have, as it is an inspiring testament to the power of second chances. Now, we're also going to be joined by our frequent contributor. Everybody know Eric McDaniel. He's been a valuable voice on our podcast, especially in our discussions about PTSD and how it affects individuals post incarceration. Now, Eric's insight always brings depth to the conversation, and today's episode will be no exception. So let's go ahead and dive in, and break down the barriers and the stigmas together. Want to welcome our host, man, our guest, Ray and
Yeah.
Eric. How you guys doing, man?
All right. Great to be here.
Awesome. Sounds great, man. Going to give it up for Ray, and then definitely got Eric in the house. Eric, how's work been going for you today, man?
Hey man, no problems at all. Just thankful to have this day over with.
There you go. I heard that. Now we got Ray on, man. This is the first time Ray has been on the show, and Ray has an interesting story. First, Ray, I want to thank you again for joining the Conviction Fiction. Definitely give it up for you, man, for coming on. Now, now, Ray, you served in the military. You served in the Air Force before your conviction. Now, how did that military experience shape your mindset before and after you got locked up?
Well, when I was in the military, they taught, we learned a lot of things, about, war and whatever. But it kind of it kind of helped me to, organize my life, you know what I'm saying, and to, just have some type of sense of leadership and also, to be able to follow directions and orders.
And that's vitally important, especially when you're talking about prison, because that's all they got is orders up in there. You know,
Right.
that's all they talk about. Like, do this, do that, get in line, make your bed,
Right.
6-inch collar, all that kind of old stuff. Now, Ray, when you were sentenced to life, I know that's a lengthy sentence. Now, how did you mentally and emotionally cope with such a heavy sentence? Because I mean, life means life. Um,
Right.
how did you cope with that?
Uh, well, at first, it was kind of difficult because I had never been locked up before. I had never been to farm school or jail or anything. But just thinking like how I'm young. I'm only like 23, 24 years old,
Mhm.
and you look at stuff on TV, you think, well, this is the way it goes, but that's not really how it goes, especially with law. And once I had family members that had been, they try to tell me this, that, and the other, and then at first, you be kind of scared a little, kind of nervous, but once you get there and see how, for yourself how it really is, then, I was like, okay, I can deal with the rules. I'm still young, and I'm saying, it's fine. I know not to get myself into too much stuff, just like I did with the always hands before I go. So if so really the first think maybe the first year was kind of rough for me. Maybe the first 18 months because I did 18 months in the county.
Mhm.
But once I got down, maybe a year passed, and I started seeing how everything worked. And then you're always going to have some guys that like you and stuff like that, and then they positive in what they're doing, and they're not caught up in all the prison life and stuff, and they're actually trying to get out, and they actually guess that's one guy saw something in me. His name was Boyd Ballard. He was from Dallas, Texas, and he the
Mhm.
one kind of calmed me down and really showed me how to actually do my time.
There you go. And that was my next question. I want to thank you for that perfect segue because there are always going to be people when you're doing time that can actually have an impact on you. They're going to show you the ropes, and they're not going to show you the negative part. They're going to be that one to keep your head up and make sure that you focus on the right things because it can be terrible. It could actually lengthen your time if you go in there hanging with the wrong crowds and doing all that stuff our mamas and stuff. You don't hang with the wrong crowd, right?
Right, right.
So I'm going to shift it over to Eric real quick because we was talking about this on last week, Eric. Were there any specific moments during your time inside that helped your mindset or people in prison that help you towards planning life after prison?
I think you got me. Okay. Yeah, I'm also former military. So, when I got in, but believe it or not, this guy on the podcast was the one who gave me the hip. And everybody need a Uncle OG. And so Ray was the one that kind of really broke it down. Um, when I got incarcerated, he was one of the influential people that I could go to. He told me a lot about how it goes and what to expect and kind of look for when I met him at Bibb County.
Awesome.
Yes.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so me, I was never in the county jail. Also, I had never been locked up before, so that was my first time being incarcerated. And the first camp I went to was Limestone,
Mhm.
and it's like really, it's just like shock. You hear all the stories, but when you see it, you see it, and it's one of them situations where can't nobody tell you when you see what you see. But my main focus was to make sure I do what I did to get up out of there. But
Right.
a lot of times I look back on it now, man, I really wasn't arrested. I was saved in a lot of ways. If that make any sense to you.
Okay. All right. So going back to Ray, that's some powerful stuff what you just said too, Eric. But with Ray was able to get out and successfully build some businesses in real estate. Like most of us have been able to get out, hold down jobs and stuff like that. So Ray, you even opened a barbershop. I mean, me and Ray talked briefly right before the show. And what inspired you to pursue entrepreneurship? And how did you get started after being gone for so long?
Well, I mean, I was determined, man. I just being honest with you. When I had a mindset like this, I tell everybody it took me 47 years to really just try to start getting it right. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I looked at it like this. I did 10 straight years in prison. I worked for the man every day, but I worked for nothing. And I started saying to myself, well, if I can work for them for nothing, I
Mhm.
can work for myself for money. And I did a good job. Every job I did, I made sure I pleased, the wardens or whatever, what I'm saying. And I just was a hard worker. I got out and I was telling Eric this the other night, and I was like, um, for it's me coming out and trying to survive, and I knew that I was up against a lot of odds that people weren't going to hire me because of my sentence and what I did and stuff like that. But I knew that while I was in there, it just came to my mind that I needed to change certain things in my life. Then I also needed to learn something new. I needed to learn other things because if once I got out and I didn't learn anything in there, then all I could do was the stuff that was doing before I left. So I had to you know, sign up for trade school, learn how to do this, learn how to cut hair. And I had when I got out, I had went and I was before I was a barber, I was a hairstylist. You know what I'm saying? So I just decided, and I taught, even when I was I taught guys how to do hair. And I became like what they call them when you're a teacher's aide.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff, made people look at me in a certain light, in a different light, because I showed them who I really was and not what I was on that piece of paper that they had, And so, and I say, if I can work all those years for nothing, I can come out here and work for something. And especially I can work for myself. And I was focused. I learned how to save. You know what I'm saying? And my kids, my sons, you say, "Daddy, you tight." I'm like, "No, I'm not. It's just I got a goal in my mind."
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try to reach it. If I live and nothing happened, and I already knew I had God on my side because He helped me through all of that stuff down there. I never did hard time. All my time was easy, except for the part I just was away from home.
Okay.
All
right. Eric, you want to elaborate a little bit more on your experience with that? Like, I know we talked about it before. Eric is a constant contributor. We go like make this with Antoine and with ATL and Eric. We're gonna make this show like that. But what were some of the challenges we talked about it before? But like the challenges you faced when you started, like were they similar to what Ray was going through?
Yeah, sort of similar. Basically, for me, I knew I didn't have time to waste when I got out. I had to have a plan. He say, "Man, don't have a plan. He plans to fail." And so, yeah, that mindset of, but believe it or not, sometimes starting from the bottom and coming up out the mud can be the best thing, because when you go through a humbling experience, it allows you to get your priorities in order to not repeat that process. And so, I was just, my mind frame was on, I'm not going to work hard to be unprofitable. So that means when I got out, I knew I had to kind of change my surroundings and stick to my plan. Um, even going through the same thing Ray went through with the money. My daughter was saying, "Hey, man, you tight, but listen, right now I got a plan and I'm trying to stick with it." The other thing was overcoming the stigmas of getting out. A lot of times we can create those stigmas in our mind to be bigger than what they really are out here. Saying I'm an ex-felon or just got out of prison or these things. In fact, when I got out, I went and registered at the employment agency, and they gave me all kind of bonding papers where you take the jobs, and if they hire you, they get tax deductions and all of these things, which were great for me because it was a selling point when I went to the interviews, to share that information. Hey, this is a tax write-off. Now that you see that I'm an ex-felon, to be able to hire me. So that was some assets, but at the same time, it all just boiled down to the mind frame. Being gone for so long just created a desire for me not to waste any more time.
Oh, that's awesome because I know that, excuse me, for me, that bonding process. We had a show a couple of weeks ago about like the prison industrial complex, like how they make money, and even after you get out, like Eric just said, that even when you get out, people are still trying to capitalize off of your mistakes. So that's something that we're probably going to get into to help others that are getting out when they are going through the interview process. That's something that a lot of people don't know. Tell them that you got to be bonded, that you're actually insured just in case something were to go down. Right. So now, moving along, man. I know the kids, man. They always talking about tightness, and kids don't know about money no more. I don't know, but from what I hear from y'all, they don't know about. They don't think like they think money like growing trees. I think we actually made them soft. We try to give them too much. I think we try to give them too
I
much.
agree.
Okay, but when it comes to those obstacles, it's very important to have that same mind frame, like Ray and like you, Eric, to actually have that focus and that drive to continue on. Because, like we have talked about on this show before, we've lost a lot of time, and then there's a danger though, and that's what I want to talk to you about, Eric. Now, there's a danger in trying to catch up from all that time, and you might make a mistake. Tell me about that.
Yeah. They'd explain to me when I got ready to get out. They was like, look, whatever age you left at, when you go back, because we creatures of habit, your subconscious mind, your emotions, and a lot of stuff will go back to that place. Um, for me, like I told you before, you know, God had his hand on me. And so a lot of the studying and prayer and a lot of things, I found out who I was in Christ. So that was a big thing when I got out, to know who I was. Far greater than any AIS number, far greater than any stigma or label a person could put on me. And I had seen enough during my incarceration of who he was and who he called me to be, to know that I had some backing when I got out. My job was to remain humble, continue to allow him to lead me and guide me and stay in his presence. And things began to move. I don't even know if this story, when I left North Carolina, I initially never wanted to come back to Alabama. And so when the Lord said Alabama, I'm like, wow, that wasn't what I wanted, but it was about what he wanted. And I had been prepared in North Carolina. So when I come back, I had a nice pastor who allowed me to use 2 buildings to teach out of. I go downtown to Wells Fargo to talk to them about coming in and teaching financial literacy classes. Where it just so happened they were closing down the branch. They donated all the office furniture, the file cabinets, the tables, everything I needed. Not long after that, I ran across some people I met at a national conference in North Carolina, and I met them in Decatur. They said, hey, you here now, we're going to give you everything you need, all your books, everything you need. And so, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was about to say, because like when you get out, it's important to find those resources. You got to find
Right.
resources, and there's some people that are going to help you. Now, Ray got resources. Ray is currently back in school, picking up new trades. So Ray, if you could you share with us and the rest of the Conviction Fiction podcast, what skills are you focusing on now? And how do you think they'll help you streamline your businesses?
Okay. Well, right now I go to Gaston State in Gaston, Alabama, and I'm taking up carpentry.
Okay.
And one reason I took up the carpentry, because I got a mindset of dealing with real estate. Buying houses, fixing them up, selling them, renting them, and also I already have a couple of houses, and sometimes you hire people, man, and I didn't know how to do carpentry, but I could just look at something that they were doing and knew that it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So I'm the type of person that, okay, well, I can learn this stuff for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm business minded, and I know, and I can get me a crew. If I so desire. So that's what motivated me to go to carpentry. So my son said, "Dad, you too old." I said, "Man, it's one thing I knew about life. If something is not growing, it's dying."
Right.
So I'm just always trying to grow. If I can get up, knee hurting, back hurting, don't feel like getting up, I'm still gonna get up. I'm still gonna get up. And I was listening to something the other day. Like a lot of times we have desires, we have things that we want to do and ideas, and when you first think about them, you all hyped, you ready to go. But see, circumstances and troubles and stuff like that hadn't came into play yet. And so I try to be aware of that. And then if I'm tired, if something go wrong, whatever, I still try to have that same energy that I had before all the, the struggles and trials started to come. And I don't let that stop me. I just try to keep that same energy and that same mind frame. And I do it with everything. If I start something, I'm going to finish it. I might not finish when everybody else finishes, but I'm going to continue until I finish.
There you go, man. I appreciate that, man. Everybody, if you're listening, I'm gonna put it out there, Ray. You don't mind if I share with the audience your age, do you?
Oh no,
You don't
I'm
mind.
good.
All right. So Ray, I was talking to Ray. Ray is 69 years old. Ray is 69 years old. He's doing his thing with the real estate. He has a business, a couple of businesses. We talked about lawn care business. We talked about barbershops. We talked about even like a nightclub or, like an after hour spot. He's doing this at 69. And Ray just told you, the audience, like everyone that has been incarcerated. I mean, this ain't just incarceration, what we're talking about right now. We're just talking about life lessons. You got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. If you don't get up and have some type of purpose, then what are you doing? Like Ray said, if you're not growing, you're dying. Okay. So with that same energy, I know that all of us on the podcast today are actively in the community. We're making a difference and stuff. With that being said, this is for you, Eric, because I know you're out there too, and we'll get over to Ray. How did giving back become a part of your journey? And why is it so important for you to stay connected with the community efforts?
Being humble by incarceration allow you to see a lot of things. And for me, there were those that sold into me, and I felt a duty and a responsibility. And being a believer, that heightened it to be even greater, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. That word compassion, for those that didn't, it wasn't so much when I look at the incarceration, it's what I look at the value system that I had, what I reduced myself down to through my value system to really inspire me to help others. And then, when I got out, man, I even would look for a car. And I go find this car and I tell the guy, hey, I'll be back tomorrow. I get home, the guy called me and said, God told me to give you the car. People tell those stories about how people gave them things. God opened doors. So that was a responsibility, because there were those that blessed me to give back. One of the other things I think is me growing and understanding who I was as a kingdom citizen. And, part of God's plan and purpose is for us to be able to be servants, to be able to help those. So, not that I necessarily always grew up rooting for the underdog, but that humbling situation through being incarcerated and walking in them shackles and a lot of that other stuff gave me a greater desire to help others. And if I could possibly help stop somebody else from going through what I went through, that was a big part of it.
Okay, awesome. Now, I mean, definitely it's very important to give back to the community. I want to thank you guys for giving back, but because I mean, we'll never get the credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Even though we made mistakes, we were, basically out there in prison and being taken care of. Because it was an interesting stat. That some states pay over $100,000 a year to maintain the living conditions for an inmate. When you break it down by the numbers, if I was making $100,000 a year, I probably wouldn't have went to prison. I'm just saying.
Right.
Just saying. But Ray, I know you're active in the community too. Can you tell us about one of the organizations that you're dealing with?
Oh yeah. I'm the president of Humanity Outreach, and one reason that I did it, and like I say, when I first went to jail, people, once you get convicted of something, man, a lot of people don't, they just they'll read the paper and say, well, that's the guy. He did this, he did that, and they just judge you by that. And a lot of people won't let you never live that down. So, but my thing is just, if I just, people say things about me now, but I'd be like, man, don't say that. I said, if you just let me show you who I am, and then you won't believe that no more. But most people don't know what you did. They're just going by what they heard. And so once I got out, God puts on my heart to do a lot of things. And then me and E, we was locked up. We studied the Bible and stuff like that. And I tried to learn how to know it's when God is talking to me. So I try to know his voice, or is that just something I'm thinking, or is this the devil or whispering to me? And then it's so long to now I know that when God tell me to do something, I need to do it. I don't need to think about this, that, or, I just give you for instance, I got this guy named AJ. He been in prison too. He's younger than me, and he's out there, he's preaching, he's over here dealing with guys that's on drugs and stuff like that. And his car, I cut his hair all the time, but his car broke down on him. He had just bought the car and he had bought a house. And he came to the shop, he told me about when I came home, something in my spirit said, help him out. So I just went to the bank, got $1,000. I said, here, HA, man, I said, I'm gonna give you this. You can pay me back whenever you get to, I ain't in a hurry for it, but God told me to give you this. You know what I'm saying? And I realized another thing too. A lot of times when we get stuff, everything that God bless us with is really not for us. It's really for somebody else. You just got to be obedient when he tell you to give it to him. And
that's some powerful stuff there, bro. That's some powerful stuff.
So when I think about a lot of times, a lot of people don't know our story. I hear a lot of guys say, man, I'm out here doing this. Man, you don't know, I done slept in the plum bushes before. You see what I'm saying? But people don't never ask you, so they think just because they see me now that oh man, I've always been doing good. But no, but I had a mindset of I knew I was better than what I was being, and so once I started just trying to change, and God started talking to me, and I started listening, and I started studying and seeing how this stuff works. I'm not trying to go back to the Bible, but I know he know about this, and I might not know the names, but when God tells somebody something, he don't tell them what they got to go through. He just tell them where they gonna end up at.
There you go. That's
if he told them what they had to go through, they probably say, "I don't want to do that." You
right,
know what I'm saying? Like Jacob E.
That's too much. That's too much.
So
Yeah, I hear you.
And I look at people and I be like, man, I can't judge this person because I don't know what he gonna be in the end, even though he might be messing up right now.
All right. So let me ask you guys this, and I'm gonna get a floor to you guys. You can go back and forth on this one. Were there any moments that either one of you felt that you were being held back? Like, were there moments where you didn't think you was gonna make it, where you were down yourself? And if there were those moments, I mean, specifically, was it one moment where you, like my man just said, he was sleeping in a plum bush? I never slept in a plum bush before, but like that seemed like a down moment for me. So during those moments when you felt that you were really being held back, were there ways you were able to turn it into some type of advantage?
You want to go first, Mac?
I guess I never was in a hopeless state. One of the things that I can look back on now and really see, and I saw that after my release from incarceration, was that nothing was wasted. Every situation has something to learn from, and sometimes the blessing be the lesson. Did I deal with adversity? Sure, man, really dealt with adversity coming home. One of the things I found out that I could make in my mind during that process, I could make a capital murder charge out of a misdemeanor. So, learning how to deal with adversity is a must. We talked about character a little while ago. And yeah, there was some humbling moments, but now I kind of going through all that humbling situation, it allows me to see that, problems, trials, tests, adversity are just opportunities to grow. And so when I got out, I knew that there would be some challenges. When I got out, I knew that there would be some hurdles that and some doors that need to be opened that I couldn't open. And so, that's why I relied on my faith. And man, God is faithful. But I'm not going to tell you that I didn't go through it, but I can tell you by going through it, those opportunities were teachable moments to allow me to be able to know how to continue to persevere in this journey. So no, I didn't go through the part of sleeping in a bush. I went through the point of staying in a hotel for a while, but to me, the hotel was a blessing. Uh, one thing about I was listening to Ray talk about that humbling process, and that inspires you to help others. When you are judged by others and people really don't know you, and you go through a situation and you come out, I don't think you'll be the same. You're going to be way worse or you're going to be better. But I don't never think you'll be the same. So, that creates a level of compassion after being judged in a courtroom, being judged by others who read the newspaper or see you when you get out. But that process, like I said, alone has some great important lessons because it really allowed me to understand the greatest thing was how God felt about me and how I felt about myself. And so that lesson still stands today. So you, Ray.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I mean, went through it, and but I don't know. I've always had a lot of fortitude. You know, when I was going through it, I kind of made, like when I said I slept in the plum bushes. I slept in the bushes only because I didn't want to go stay back in the county jail. I had made statewide truck be out every week to be out for 4 days. I can be out from Thursday night to Monday morning, sometime longer than that. And I had just got down there. My friend I told y'all about, the one that showed me the ropes in prison, he helped get me down there. But he had been there for a while, so he had people, a girlfriend he stayed with, but would kind of let me stay with him sometime with them when I was out. But a lot of times, I'm trying to make my own way. And my mom used to say, "Well, Ray, just go back to the jail." I said, "Mom, if I can be free, I'm not gonna lock myself up." So I just dealt with what I had to deal with. Walked around all night, 2 in the morning. I knew how to make friends. I knew I was good with dealing with people. And I just did it till I ran across people that, said, "Okay, he all right. Man, you can stay over here with me." Or, meet a friend, a girlfriend, a female friend that said, "Oh, look, since you like that here, you can use my car." Till I could just, and once it started clicking like that, I started moving forward. And even when I got out and came home this time, and I'm gonna show you the worst mistake a lot of people can make. And I know I made it a lot of time, but I had to learn it. When I got out this time, I know I hadn't been out probably about 4 days, and I got to looking at what everybody else had, and I started feeling that anxious thing,
Right.
like I got to get it. But then something in my mind said, "Man, you don't supposed to have that. You ain't been here but 4 days." And that just gave me a reality check. You know what I'm saying? And I said, "Man, that might have been God talking to me then." But but after I looked at it like that, I just started working. I made $28 the first day I got out in the barbershop, and I saved it. And I made a promise to my wife. I said, "Listen, if you just let me do 1 year, you've been taking care of everything for 3 years since I've been gone. If you just keep taking care of everything for 1 year and just let me do what I know how to do with my money that I make," I said, "after that, I promise you I'll take care of everything." Oh, what happened? Oh, what happened? Hmm. Oh, Joe, something happened.
Yeah, we still here, bro. I
Oh,
think you're a little bit froze. Okay, we can hear you though.
okay. And so when I got out, and she agreed with that, I hear echo. but I'm trying to get. Y'all see me?
You're froze. Is it frozen for you, Eric?
Yeah, it's froze. I can see you, me and Ray froze.
Okay. He was going in then too.
Yeah, it was. Great story.
Let me give him a moment to get everything straightened out. He's still on the stream. He's still there. He might have dropped off for a second, but we'll get him back. But like everything he was saying is actually true. When you get out or you're looking to, we talked about this before, trying to make up for lost time. If you're seeing what everybody else is doing, of course you're going to naturally say, "Well, I'm supposed to have that," right? Especially after the things that we have been through, we think that we deserve it more, right? Which could be another cycle that is viciously dangerous to people of our mindset and things that we've done. Because I don't know about you, but I caught myself, especially when I first got out. I caught myself, and being in civilian life, I would say, that would be easy right there to make that money. That'll be easy because not only do they not know what to do, but I've dealt with prison. I've been incarcerated before. If the law, I've become familiar with the law, I can probably beat that case, or if they give me some time, I can do that sitting on the toilet, like whatever they do. I mean, so having that focus is vitally important, because you can have that in your head as someone that's just recently got out, like, well, I can make that happen because they don't know what they are doing, right? I've done it before. It's like riding a bike. You've rode the bike before. It's like, okay, I can ride any bike. I can go do it any type of way. Now, we talked about some of the moments that you felt that you got really held back. And Eric, you said that you never got into a hopeless state. You never feel like hopeless ever.
Look, never. I can never felt hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
Ray brought that word fortitude, so that's a big word with me. I wasn't gonna give in. I talked a little bit about it last time about regardless of the situation, we just got to keep moving. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the insanities of coming out, especially after you've done a little time has went by, years went by, it's a totally different game than what we knew. It might be the same book, but it's some different chapters that they're working on when we get out. So yeah, those things will present themselves, and they presented themselves to me, and to some degree, man, I partook of them. But I just thank God that I had enough mind to look down the road to just see that really wasn't what I wanted to do or put myself in them situations. One of the things about being incarcerated and seeing the system, I don't know if we really gonna get into the system conversation tonight, but
no, not tonight. Not tonight.
Well, look, I look forward to that one, because listen, that's a big one, because being inside the facilities is one thing, but talking about what's written in the law books and what's written, the whole process that we go through, that might be 2 podcasts. It's my young brother. Look through that, because when they say stacked against you, getting out, that's why I really like what you're doing, and I really like to encourage others and try to get some helpful information for those that's getting ready to touch down if they're listening. But you got to have that fortitude, and you got to keep moving, but you got to understand that the deck is stacked against you. The deck is, according to the laws and the way the world is, they are stacked against you. But, if you persevere and dig deep and work on your character, you can overcome.
Okay. That's very important. So what I wanted to do was I just sent Ray text, because he was giving some powerful stuff. I didn't think he wanted to leave right now. If he was trying to leave in the middle of that, he just joined back. Ray, I was just saying,
are we there now?
Yeah, I was just saying to myself, I said, I know he was kind of in his mode. I don't think he was trying to drop off right then. But you're back.
going back to what I was saying, I never felt hopeless, but I kind of felt like, man, I'm getting older. I got to do something. I don't know how I'm gonna do it or whatever. But but like what I was saying about like what I told my wife, and I'm a big thing about it. If I tell you something, my word is bond.
Yeah.
Even if I have to go without, I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do out of my mouth.
Yeah, and then that's one of the things that you said right before you left. You was talking about the story where you told your wife that if she take care of everything for 1 year, you'll take care of everything for the rest of her life.
Yeah, right.
That's where we
And
left off at.
and she tells everybody today, even some of my grandkids, when I tell them about being a person of their word, and I use that story against them, and then I say, Esther, and she'll say, what he told me, and he lived up to everything he ever told me. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where I try to be. I'm just, and I want people to be that way. That we be that way, man, we would have less conflict with each other. You know, so we grown. We really don't have to tell each other a lie. You know what I mean? And so if I can do it, I can do it. If I can't do it, I can't do it. But I think I can do what anybody else do. It might take me longer to do it, but it ain't about how long it takes or how fast it takes. We just trying to get to a certain destination. You get there before me, long as I get there, we did the same thing. Nobody did no more than the other one.
Yeah, that's very important. I mean, it ain't about like the journey for real. It's more about the destination. Where you trying to get to, how you going to get there. As long as we
Right.
meet up at the same spot, we good. Now, one of the closing questions I had, and I know we could probably stay on for a minute. We've been on for about 45 minutes. What message would you want to share with people who are still incarcerated or who have just gotten out and are looking to rebuild their lives? And I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Ray first, because what message would you give somebody that's locked up right now, or somebody that just got out and are looking to rebuild their lives?
Okay. For anybody that's spinning to get out, I would tell them that don't wait till you get out to try to change. You got to change while you're there. You got to learn something new so when you do get out, you can do something new. And for the ones that's already out here, you just gotta be a person of your word. Whatever you say you're gonna do to yourself and to others, you know, do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just do it. It's not that hard. You know, that's the problem with a lot of people. They just say things, but they don't do it. And then know that when you do say something that you really want to do something, that you're saying at a time that you're having no struggles and you're having no conflicts, anything like that. Just try to keep that same mindset you had it when you first told yourself. Because I know I say a lot of things. I feel good when I say it. Man, I'm gonna learn this carpentry. But then I ain't know when I get up there, I'm gonna have to, when I do the books, I gotta learn how to read a ruler. I gotta learn how to lay rafters. And it's hard. But I can't let that hardness make me tuck my tail and run, because struggles, that's all they can do. They can either take you on to success or make you tuck your tail and run. And that'd be my advice to them. Just be a man, be what God made you in. You can do it. If one man can do it, you can do
I guess for me, for my brothers that's in getting ready to get out, man, listen, change is mandatory and struggle is ordained. When we really reach that place to come to ourselves, to understand that the greatest enemy is ourselves. So, to embrace that change mind, that change, and to be able to assemble yourself to be able to grow. What you assemble is what you resemble. For those that just out here getting out, I tell them, look, despise not humble beginnings. And I'm saying that because everything is a process. But it goes back to that same cliche: what you assemble is what you resemble. Surround yourself with people in a direction that you want to go. You know, because insanity is doing the same thing, expecting something different, man. And it don't matter where you go. People say change of environment. Wherever you go, you take you with you. And if there's not no renew you, you'll fall back into some of them same habits and traps. Um, they talked to me about first couple years about not really getting in a relationship, and having been one that got out and looking back now, yeah, keep your mind on your plan, keep your mind on your money, keep your mind on getting yourself established. Because I tell people, once you get the job down, once you get yourself a place to stay down, you get you some transportation, then 99% of the women that you thought you would deal with before then, you wouldn't even deal with them. Because you feeling better about yourself, you're moving forward, you got some stability, and being stable is a must. So getting your finances, getting the job situation down, regardless. Don't despise humble beginnings, regardless of what it is. You're never down a working man, but you'll start building. It's just when you're not building, then you'll start dealing with low hanging fruit and a whole lot of other things. And so that would be my advice, man. Look, surround yourself with some people that's going in a direction that you would want to go, or some people that could add to you to grow. Because like Ray said, if you ain't growing, you're dying. And it's all about growing. That was one of the blessings about that I could look back and say in my incarceration. There were those that they sold, but I was blessed to be in the environment to work on myself. Not that I got it all together today, because I don't. But what I am saying is, the greatest lesson I understood was it was me and my thinking that was going to make the difference.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get in some closing questions really quick. We're almost at time, but Ray, looking back, I got basically two questions for you. To close out, and then we're gonna get Eric his questions. But Ray, looking back, what do you think has been your greatest achievement since being released? The
Oh
greatest
man,
thing you've done, the greatest achievement.
to me, right now, just my greatest achievement, man, is when I start trying to get the humanity outreach going. I mean, I just, me personally, I love, helping people. But people say, "Oh, you do this and that," but no, I'm not, man. If you could get inside of my skin, and you'll see, I'm not the things that I've done before. I'm my name is Ray Ragland. That's who I am. I got a good heart, and I don't mind helping people. I've always did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you always got that little dark cloud over your head about what I did in the past. But I'm not my past. I'm my future. And so
Okay.
to me, when I did that, that was one of the greatest moments in my life, man. Because I didn't
All
even
right.
think I can do it.
All right. And the last question I got for you, so what's next for you and your businesses right now? I know you're going in school and stuff. What's next? I ain't mean to
Uh,
make you start thinking about work. I ain't mean to make you start thinking about work.
for real, because me personally, I've been standing behind that chair cutting hair, and I'm getting older, and I feel a little knee pain here and there. So now I just asked myself, man, I need to do something else when I can't do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could, and I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna learn it,
There you
and
go.
I'm just gonna get me a crew. And once I get a crew, I'm just gonna start buying houses, fixing them up,
Mm-hmm.
and just so I can continue to take care of myself, because I just don't want people to take care of me. I take care of my own self.
Okay. Cool. Now,
That
going. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm good. That's what I really want to do right there.
Okay. With the real estate, you're going to expand your real estate empire. That's
Right.
what's up. All right. So, Eric, any final thoughts on how we can continue to, you know, support incarcerated individuals? And I know you talk about the stigma, and you've been a great advocate for in our discussions that we had on, mental health and spirituality. and how society can give better support for people like that that have been in situations like we have been in. So, any final thoughts on how we can continue to raise that awareness about the struggles of those reentering society?
I think one, I'm thankful for this platform, but at the present time with me, I'm planning on going back in. I contacted a couple people about possibly going in and starting a ministry inside.
Oh man,
Uh,
that'll be awesome, man. Put me down.
and
I'll go back in.
that's one of my heart desires. And you know, when just allude to a little bit what Ray was talking about, the question you asked him, purpose, man, purpose. One of the greatest achievements for me was purpose, and I bring that up in according to the question you asked me because a lot of times we moving and we grooving, we don't understand the power of being in purpose, what I was created to do. Those things that line up with my passions. And so, that's meaning for me. It ain't the money, it ain't the houses, it ain't the bank account or none of that. It's having peace and understanding that I'm walking in my purpose. And so, that allows me. You asked me how my day was. It was a good day, but I had to walk in my purpose and understand, that today, I belong in today. And there's a reason and a plan and a purpose for me being here today. I think about when you talk about creating other platforms, man, I've been trying to brainstorm and figure out not just growing this podcast for you, but other ways to be able to encourage my brothers. We got a work release here, so I contacted somebody about possibly going in, sharing my testimony and speaking. I'm kind of old school. I come from that Gil Scott Heron type mentality. The revolution will not be televised. So, we got to do it. It's up to us. We've been given great gifts. God has blessed us with purpose. God has blessed us with opportunities to look back and to see how blessed we are today. And it's up for us because they ain't going to get it on the radio. They ain't going to get it on TV. It's going to have to be word of mouth from some soldiers willing to go in and share and keep it real. Because like I said, a lot of things according to the system is designed for others to come out and go back in. And so going inside and being able to speak and having the opportunity to go face to face with some brothers here and also point them toward this platform would be a great thing because from talking about PTSD, from talking about reentry mindsets, how to deal with the adversity that coming out, or even understanding that there are some programs and things that have been set forth through the bonding program. There's some temp services called Second Chance. It's just used for people who have been incarcerated. And they go through this process of these few classes I know about to be able to help others re-enter into society and get stable. And so
All
that's where
right.
I'm at with it.
Well, thank you guys for joining. I'm going to go ahead and close out because it has been a fruitful conversation, especially with having more people on. I've been working the boys by myself. The wife, that's my sound engineer. She also my assistant. She write all this stuff up. But she's down there cooking dinner. But I want to thank you guys for sharing your incredible insights, Ray. Your journey is a testament to the power of resilience and giving back. And Eric, your expertise when it comes to advocacy and continue to help shed light on the often overlooked struggles of post incarcerated individuals. For all of our listeners out there, remember that change is always possible and overcoming stigma starts with conversations like these. This interview basically explored Ray's inspiring journey and Eric's expertise while driving home the theme of overcoming accident. And that's what we're going to continue to do on this podcast. Make sure you share the word out. If you got friends or guests or somebody that want to come on and share their story, please let me know. We will set it up and we can get the word out. Eric, I do want to follow with you later because I know you was talking about why did I do that? Oh, why did I do that? That's why I said I need my soundboard later. Can't hear right now. Basically, But I wanted, you was talking about the going back in, talking. Just let me know the details. I'll definitely be there, try to support. And we should also go. Like, if you guys are ever in Atlanta or whenever I'm in Anniston or even in Huntsville and that Decatur area, man, we got to look each other up because I definitely want to make it more than about a podcast. We're gonna like get that word out like it's supposed to be done. Um, any other final closing moments before we end the show? I do want you guys to stay on. Don't go nowhere. For the listeners, there will be an opportunity for you guys to look at or listen to the after show things that we're going to be doing, but of course that's going to be different. It may be pay. We have it a paid subscription or something like that, but we do talk after this, so look out for that. But before we go, just want to give any final thoughts from any one of our guests today that you guys want to share.
Yeah, I do because I was listening. He was talking about like going back in, but my thing is, man, it's a lot going on with our little young black brothers. You know what I'm saying? Now that I have a heart for that, and yeah, we can tell them what to do before. I mean, once they come out back out here, but we need to tell them what not to do before they go. And I know that's gonna be a hard job, man, but it's on us, man. I mean, I think about this every day. It's like, what can we do to get these kids and people, our people back, you know,
Well, one of the
on the
things that goes on here in Atlanta, I don't know if it's where you are, and maybe that's something that we can expand on one of the other episodes. Is that like there's diversion programs here in Atlanta? They big on that as far as like quit. They try to quit funneling. Especially people of color, not being racist because they ain't what the show about, but like just young people going to prison. So they put them in these little programs down here, and there need to be more programs like that around the country. I don't know if you guys have heard of his name is Ray. Oh God, Ray's last name. But here's the mission. It's the Next Level Boys Academy, and he has it with the courts down here in Fulton County, the largest county here in Atlanta. And judges are diverting 30-year, 40-year sentences, and all they have to do is complete this program, and they don't go to prison. Now, of course, there are some that eventually slip through the cracks, but they are saving more lives with this diversion program than getting them exposed to the penal system, wherein their lives are forever altered. People get out and come back and go back and come back and go back, and then before long, they ain't did shit. They ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? So maybe like diversion programs. Are there any diversion programs where you guys located?
no, not here. And the
Okay.
reason I said that, man, remember they had they just had the thing in Birmingham. What is it? Where they played what is it, like a black expo? What the two college teams play?
Oh,
Magic
you
City
talking about
Classic.
the classic Alabama State and Alabama A&M.
Sometimes I can see things that everybody else seen a football game and a parade that morning.
Mm-hmm.
But I seen when I looked, I told my wife, I said, look at that. I said, now you hear all of this killing going on in Birmingham. I said, but look at that right there, all of those black people. And nobody is clowning. You see what I'm saying? Everybody is unified. They in there for one good reason. And it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Instead of all of this chaos and I mean, and that's just where I looked at that, and it made me happy, and it kind of made me cheer up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
you got to
and
have a heart for your people. It ain't
yeah,
got
and
nothing to
that
do with. I just got a heart for mine. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's what me and Eric we was talking about. I think it was on the after show, one of the shows the other day. We were talking about how we have these opportunities out there to prevent people from going to prison, and we have events like the one you just mentioned, the Magic City Classic. But at the end of the day, it's like if they were to hear or if they were to know someone that's been through the struggle and can actually give them pointers on how to avoid going through a lot of different hoops and ringers and a bunch of bullshit. If we can get to them,
Right.
so they won't have to go through that kind of stuff, then it may cause a reduction. I'm not trying to change the world, bro. I'm just trying to do my part, because I
Right.
know if somebody had told me like way beforehand, this is what prison gonna be like. Not only that, this is what prison gonna be like, but like this is what your life is gonna be like after prison. If you want to be successful, you're gonna go do this. You might have to be bonded just to get a job. You got to go. You can create a more constrained life. Basically, you can. I mean, if you on your choices today, you can make your life harder, like 10 times harder by going to prison. So, like being able to talk to them beforehand, I think this is that perfect avenue, because, like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to go get bonded. Oh yeah, you won't be able to vote. People gonna look at you a certain way. I'm like, nah, we're not gonna hire you. We're not gonna give you a job because you got a criminal record. You know, so there are programs and resources and people that will help. But at the same time, if you ain't never been in prison, like, let me tell you what's going on from the jump. So maybe you might want to make a different decision when it comes to hanging out with your friends, or going to rob this place, or going to sell these drugs, or getting caught up in any kind of way. Right. So that's what this platform is for, man. Again, I want to thank y'all guys for joining, man. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. Y'all hang out just for a minute so we can do the post interview, okay?
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining River Run. River Runs Deep. That's my production company that I've been like feeling a while with. But this is the Conviction Fiction, and we'll see you guys next week.